Talking about entrepreneurial leadership, let me share with you some interesting quotes from some of the top entrepreneurial leaders. Mark Zuckerberg, the founder of Facebook, once said, if you just work on stuff that you like and you're passionate about, you don't have to master plan with how things will play out. Henry Ford said, when everything seems to be going against you, remember that the airplane takes off against the wind, not with it. And Larry Page, co-founder of Google, as you all must be aware of, said, always deliver more than expected. But how to deliver more than the expected and have that leadership, that performance and that culture? So to further deliberate on this topic, we have distinguished guests amongst us today and would take this opportunity to welcome Dr. Satish Seth, Director General JIMS, who would be our session chairperson for the second technical session. To introduce our first distinguished guest to the audience, Mr. Inyas Hendrik. He is Director of India Consult, a professional, reliable and result-oriented management consulting firm, assisting companies in starting, developing and expanding their business in India. India Consult offers practical business support to adapt to the ever-changing market demands with professionalism and commitment for quality, detail and service. Dr. Chang worked in the corporate world for about 25 years, mostly in manufacturing sector, where she held a number of senior management positions. She also consulted for a variety of small and medium-sized organizations in the Malaysia and the UK in the area of new venture creation and corporate entrepreneurship. During this time, Dr. Chang initiated 6 entrepreneurial ventures. She teaches on a range of entrepreneurial. Our third distinguished guest for this session is
drift on time, and in me you'll have the most popular chairperson ever. I'm going to talk less and I'm going to hear more. Okay, in fact not talk at all if you like it. I'll now request Mr. Ron McLucky, okay, to the way in which we are seated, so may I now request him to kindly give his presentation. Thank you, Ron.
Hi. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon, welcome. For me it's an absolute pleasure and privilege to be with you this afternoon. I'm passionate about development of people and specifically young people and leaders of the future, so that's why I'm here. I love interacting with students, we do it all over India. So thank you for the invitation to be here, and it's a pleasure. How many of you are planning to go into corporate jobs and how many of you are planning to go as entrepreneurs? So could we have entrepreneurs, hands up? How many of you plan to be entrepreneurs? Okay. Corporate roles? Okay. Oh, so there we have the salary junkies, huh? Folks, what I'm going to do, I've changed the format of what I was going to do slightly. I'm going to share with you just some personal stories, and then I've got 2 models that I want to share with you, which you will find, I think, incredibly valuable, either if you're going the corporate route or the entrepreneur route. I loved Anurag's address just before lunch, so hopefully I'll be a bit different. I generally am reasonably powerful and I do have a point of view. But I appreciate, we'll keep all the PowerPoint stuff very short. Yeah, there's sort of talking going on somewhere out there, I really just find it very distracting. I would very appreciate and value if you could just, if there's something you want to share, please share it. That would be most appreciated. Folks, the most critical point in entrepreneurship, we hear about you've got to have a business plan, you've got to have capital, you've got to have all these things. At the end of the day, success, entrepreneurial success, is an inside-out job. It comes from inside. The points that Anurag made about passion, about resilience, all those things, we'll talk more about that, but that is really the heart and soul of everything.
I want to talk to you about the 3 secrets or the 3 P's that are at work behind the world's greatest entrepreneurs. Let's get started with the first secret, the first P. You need to have an idea or a problem or a wrong that you want to right, that you are passionate about. Passion is the first P to master, to become a great entrepreneur. Without passion, you are not going to succeed to survive when things become difficult. You cannot create something new and exciting and innovative unless you are passionately inspired to move the world forward. The Oxford Dictionary describes passion as an intense desire or enthusiasm for something. Steve Jobs used to say, people with passion can change the world. People with passion can change the world for the better. So my question to you today is, what are you passionate about? Dig deep inside yourself to figure out what makes your heart sing. The problems you see in this world are also your problems. You have the opportunity, no, I would rather say the obligation, to make the world a better place. So, what problems are you going to solve? Students, the world needs you. Go out and play your biggest game. Aim high. One person can make a difference. You can make a difference. You must make a difference. Find something that you are so passionate about that you can't wait for the sun to rise to do it all over again. Steve Jobs wasn't that passionate about computers as he was passionate about creating tools to unleash your inner creativity. A computer is the product, but Steve was more passionate about how the computer, how the product changes, improves, and enriches your life. Being passionate about whatever you do is the first secret behind each and every great entrepreneur. So, what are you passionate about? What makes your heart sing? Passion is where world-class innovation starts. Use your passion to transform your ideas into products and services. And product is at the same time the second P to master, to become a great entrepreneur.
Very warm welcome. Greetings from London to you, and thank you for your hospitality, especially from my first time in India. It's very, very colorful. Okay. This morning we have heard about what is it to be an entrepreneur, what is it like, what are the formulas, and in your mind now you must be thinking, how do I become one if I desire to be one? How do we do it? How do I do it when I'm a student? So this is here, you can hear about from us here at Westminster. So it is quite a timely situation as entrepreneurship is such a buzzword, but how do we do it? We are young people, okay? So first thing is, I'd like to talk about international entrepreneurship, the process. First, before you go international, you have to be firm in your own domestic area, your market. Then you think about regional, then you think about national, then you go outside. But now, things have changed because of the digital revolution. Sometimes business have changed. You don't even have to be in domestic, but you can be overseas. So this is the new wave. This is where UK, at the moment, have lots of digital opportunities. Okay, we are really trying, we are the fast moving digital revolution in in Europe right now. So about 34% of the business actually are from digital. So if you think you have this digital talent, come and join us. So I'm making a little promotion for UK. So in UK, what do they say? You can register with a company within 48 hours. If you go to the website, okay, it's the world top. Most of the world top universities are based in UK right now. One of course, one of Westminster is placed in number 30 for diversities. We are top 30 in the world right now. Okay, and we also have the labor, we have the expertise in digital, and also one thing about the government is very, very supportive for the startup and entrepreneurship. So in UK, we are very much in the process of importing talent. But one thing for sure, like everyone says, is you must have one good, very good idea that differentiates from everybody, and it helps to change life, not just making money. It has to cover. Okay, the ethos is, it's about preserving the society, the planet, the triple bottom line. So that's very important. Now, of course, in the UK, they endorse you. How they do it, you can go through the graduate entrepreneurship scheme. Okay, here you have a number of accelerators to help you. And in fact, if you see all those things in blue, you actually can click it. I will give you the PowerPoint and leave it with you, and you can click it where to find the information. And there's another company, it's a Tech City. Okay, that's where I get a lot of information from. It actually can develop you to be an entrepreneur on entrepreneur visa, Tech City, and not just only in London, but all over UK. So we have a lot of clusters of digital, digital clusters. Now, how do we do it in Westminster? Now, what we have decided is we build ourselves into the ecosystem, the business ecosystem. We do not see that we are outside of any industry. So we are part of the system. That means we see ourselves as part of the business ecosystem. That means we provide students who are graduate ready for employment, students who are graduate ready to be entrepreneurs, or already ready. Okay, this is what we do. One example we have done is we have our own crowdfunding platform. That means students with entrepreneur ideas, even in year 1, year 2, they can actually go for seed money. The first stage is through the reward. When things are getting better, then they go for peer-to-peer lending, then move on to equity. Of course, it goes with sophistication of your business idea and your business. And then when you move on to scalability, we go to what you call it equity crowdfunding. So this is how we keep ourselves abreast with the industry. We also keep ourselves very much informed, the state of the art, the support, okay? How to raise the method and the exposure. So our university are also involved in the Tier 1 visa. That means students who graduate, we decide that they want to be entrepreneur, we help them, international students, okay? We also increase communication towards the Westminster community. That means our students through the Westminster Society, they actually organize livestock. Each livestock they invite, just like what you have in the morning, 4 to 10 entrepreneurs come and speak to students. And each time it's about 300 or 400 people. It's like a forum. And before I left here, we have about 400 people coming, and there were 5 entrepreneurs. If you click the blue again, you can see what actually happened in Westminster Society. It's all organized by students, not me. And also we have a very innovative undergraduate, and the forthcoming is a postgraduate program, complementary program to stimulate new venture growth and organic growth. We have what you call the business management entrepreneurship pathway program. These are for students who are not very sure whether they want to be a full-fledged entrepreneurs or they're not sure. So we call it the iffy ones. And then we have the new program, we call it BA entrepreneurship. This is specialist. Here in the year 1, the student will start their company. Students in the year 1 set up their company, and the way it's being taught is completely different. And then we have MSc entrepreneurship, we will start next year. So I will talk about detail a bit how we start. So this is our achievement so far, you can see.
Through this panel discussion, we want to sort of keep it focused towards that. I sense there are some people who want to start out, there are some people who are trying their hands on to some ventures in some form. We would want this to be a very interactive sort of a session. We'll start this session with Avinash, essentially talking about his journey of being a professional and then being an entrepreneur. And with this introduction, we'll move into certain specifics and then essentially take questions.
Sure. It's a pleasure and privilege, and thanks, Ashu, for giving me this opportunity to talk about my journey in profession and entrepreneurship. So, I started my entrepreneurial journey with having a problem to solve, and made a lot of mistakes, particularly one mistake that I did make, which I would like to share with you at this stage when some of you are starting or wanting to start your first business, perhaps, is to look for customer orientation. What I mean is that I had a technology orientation when I started my company called Root Guru back in 2003, where this company was going to create technology in the domain of navigation, road navigation. So essentially, just a brief on that is that Western technologies in navigation, they provide driving directions to people in the in the form of street names, right? Road names. They would say, go for 2 kilometers and then take so and so exit, or take turn right on so and so road. And those things don't work in India. I'd been abroad in my professional life, and I came back to India, and particularly when I was new in Delhi, I used to find a lot of problem finding locations in Delhi. Delhi is all circle, and street names are, except for central Delhi, perhaps street names are not written out, right? So I said, why don't I solve this problem for myself? And I did create this technology and company where this was globally the first time when we were able to build driving directions or navigation based on landmarks. Because that's how people navigate in India, right? We tell each other landmarks, right? But there were tons of things that we did not think about, which are important for creating a successful business, right? And those were the reasons why we had to actually shelve and kind of liquidate this venture in 2006. So I would strongly recommend that go talk to customers a lot more often than just thinking about technology. That's that, but in practice, that's something which is very, very important.
Avinash, I would want you to speak a little about Echo as well. As you were doing a rocking job, and I've known Abhinav for a bit and we've spoken. I think it'd be fantastic if you could speak a little bit.
So Echo did exactly that as one of the right things. So in Echo, Echo is a company in the domain of creating technology and services for mobile payments, and particularly for the underserved market. So 700 million people in India do not have an access to a bank account or to access to a payment instrument, a digital payment instrument. 80% of Indians who earn in cash, and of the remaining 20% who earn in digital form, like people like Ashu, myself, some of us also use cash in many instances of payments, right? So cash remains king in terms of how finances move or economy moves in India, and so Echo is filling Echo is a company that is creating technology and services to convert India from a cash economy to a less cash economy, which is also the vision that Reserve Bank of India is driving. So
I became an electronics engineer. I still, I didn't fit into the textile industry. So I struggled for a couple of years in that, and I quit that also. I started with an IT enterprise, and finally that's what I've been doing for many years. I did an enterprise in IT education, then IT services. Now I'm building a new platform. So sometime back, I think I visited your college also a couple of times. Anyone who's attended my workshop before? Okay, I've taken a few workshops in your college about how to start your business. So I've started helping people who want to launch new businesses. So right from your idea, how to generate your idea up to launching that idea in the market. And as Mr. Avinash very rightly said, that if you have an idea, it's not you can launch a business with just an idea. It's the opportunity which you have to look for. And where does the opportunity come from? From the user. Unless you have a customer, unless you understand the problem of a customer, you cannot create a product out of your idea. So that has to be step number one. So what I did after speaking to so many young people who wanted to start up and helping a few of them actually start up, I realized that many people struggle with their startups. So now I'm building a platform where I'm connecting people who already have their businesses, but they want to exit from that business. They want to sell that business. And on the other side, we have people who want to start a new business. So I'm trying to connect the two, people who want to sell an existing business and people who want to launch a new business. And maybe they can have a synergy, they can take over the business which is on sale. It's a business exchange which I'm trying to launch. And it's again based on the experiences which I've had in these past 3-4 years meeting people who want to start up. Because the logic here is that it's very good if you want to start based on your idea, but then there are a lot of assumptions around your idea. You don't know, you have not tested it. But here is another guy who's been running a business for a couple of years. The idea has been tested and proven. Why don't you take over from the point where he's trying to leave? Whatever the reasons for leaving it, maybe he wants to retire from that business or he has another idea. But if you take over a running business, the probability of success is much higher, rather than starting from zero, from scratch. Unless it is something very innovative which you are starting with, and there is nothing like that in the world which exists already. Right? Thank you.